In the southern Deccan plateau of India, near present-day Mysore in Karnataka, stands the 12th century Venugopala Swami temple. It is a highly intricate example of Hoysala engineering and a masterclass in ancient stone craftsmanship. But in 1930, this entire 50-acre architectural complex vanished. The construction of the Krishna Raja Sagara Dam flooded the valley, swallowing the temple whole. For 70 years, the structure sat completely submerged. It was subjected to relentless hydraulic pressure and the dynamic fluid currents of a massive river reservoir. Then, in 2003, a team of modern engineers undertook a massive rescue operation. They did not drag the temple out of the water. Instead, they successfully dismantled the 50-acre monument block by block and moved it to dry land. A traditional cemented building would have fractured under decades of underwater currents or crumbled entirely during a forced demolition. The fact that this structure survived both the deluge and the deconstruction proves its builders utilized a highly advanced, survival-oriented modularity. To execute this relocation, the team mapped the entire site before moving a single stone. They captured over 16,000 photographs, treating the vast complex as one single interconnected coordinate system. Every individual stone was assigned a unique alphanumeric code. This allowed the team to track each block's precise spatial location and its exact horizontal masonry course within the wider structure. This modern reliance on digital tracking forces us to ask a difficult question. How did the original 12th century architects achieve flawless, large-scale modular construction with zero margin for error centuries before computers existed? The answer lies in the Shilpa Shastras. These texts function as the operational rule book for Indian temple architecture, establishing strict guidelines that eliminated arbitrary design choices. At the core of this framework is the Talamana system, a strict proportional measurement scale. It relies on a base unit called the Angula, which is a fraction derived from the proportions of the human body. By defining a single base module, all dependent parts, from column height to wall width, are automatically calculated. This absolute ratio allowed builders to distribute work. Masons in distant quarries cut interlocking joints to the exact same scale. This universal measurement language functioned exactly like modern standardized electrical sockets. It guaranteed that a complex bracket sculpted in a remote village workshop would lock perfectly into a load-bearing pillar at the central temple site. As the modern engineers lifted the massive roof slabs during the dismantling process, they uncovered the physical hardware driving this modularity: dry masonry. The multi-part, load-bearing pillars are not monolithic columns. They are stacked components, secured together using precision, carved horizontal mortice and tenon joints and dense double mortise pegs. While this mechanism resembles modern interlocking plastic toy bricks, the stakes here are vastly different. When assembling blocks of stone weighing several tons each, a misaligned joint cannot simply be snapped apart and redone. To manage this immense weight without binding mortar, the builders utilized a kinematic model of floating stone joint. Under static conditions, the heavy gravitational load of the chloritic schist combined with extreme surface friction of the carved faces achieves absolute structural equilibrium. The true brilliance of this system reveals itself under massive external kinetic stress, like a sudden tectonic tremor or the currents of a flooded reservoir. Instead of snapping under pressure, the dry joint interfaces act as microscopic slip planes. The heavy blocks undergo minute vibrations, sliding just millimeters against one another. This motion actively converts destructive kinetic energy into thermal energy through friction. By remaining locked but not rigidly fixed, the entire building functions as an advanced seismic isolator. It absorbs massive shocks, relies on gravity to self-center once the stress passes, and survives dynamic forces that would easily shatter rigid, cemented concrete. When the modern relocation team worked their way down to the base of the temple, they exposed its distinctive foundation, a complex star-shaped ground plan. This geometric layout maximizes a metric known as structural plan density. This is the ratio of the vertical structural mass compared to the total gross floor area. Hoysala temples achieve an immensely high structural density of up to 47 pence, heavily filling their footprint with solid vertical mass. In contrast, a modern frame building relies on a sparse grid of isolated support columns. The resulting zigzag profile of the exterior plinth walls acts like a folded plate shear wall. This specific shape radically increases the building's lateral stiffness against seismic shear forces. Because this dense mass is distributed symmetrically around the geometric center, it minimizes torsional eccentricity. The footprint prevents the structure from twisting or rotating during a tremor, proving the base was engineered as an unshakable anchor for the flexible joints above. At the new site, the temple was meticulously resurrected from the bottom up. The star-shaped plinth, the lathe-turned pillars, and the heavy roof beams were carefully reassembled. The entire 50-acre complex locked back together using nothing but its original gravity-fed friction joints. The modern team did not use a single drop of modern cement or structural adhesive. This centuries-old resilience stands in stark contrast to modern reinforced concrete architecture. Concrete frameworks suffer from brittle dynamic resonance during earthquakes, and the internal steel rebar rapidly rusts and degrades when exposed to moisture. If a modern, reinforced concrete building had faced 70 years of submersion in a river reservoir, it would be structurally compromised. It would typically require destructive demolition and complete replacement after just 50 to 100 years. The survival and flawless relocation of the Venugopala Swami temple demonstrates that Hoysala dry masonry is a highly adaptable engineering model. Its principles of modularity and friction,